So Team McEwen started with a win against Mark Keane. Then they suffered a loss to Matt Dunstone in their second game, dropping them to the B, where they responded with a win over John Schuster, win against Brad Gushu, and then just in the quarterfinals, the last preliminary qualifier beat Lucas Klima. And as we just saw, just earlier this morning, knocked off Brad Gushu in a thrilling matchup.
I thought I was going to throw fresh stuff. Yeah. 15-2 on a draw.
Yeah, good speed there for sure. Yeah.
I'll make the run.
It was virtue of that perfect record and coming through the A-path that gives Hosley the hammer here. You can see there was plenty of room for them to make that takeout.
Might be tight for Lions.
Incredibly tight on
And once again, those of you just joining us, thank you for coming in. We have McEwen versus Hosley here in the semifinals of the Henderson Metal Fall Classic presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario.
Yeah, I like that.
The end's been pretty simple thus far.
I mean, they say you should get a little bit of fresh curl.
Those skips keeping him pretty wide open, and
based on his guard,
like McEwen is going to take this takeout and
I think that's got to be close.
Try to roll underneath the wing there and make it as difficult as he can for Team Hosley.
Wait. Yeah, I had 15-2 on his draw.
Yeah, it's just a sliver of a roll, but still shouldn't be a problem for that stone to be accessed.
Can believe true 12-5 here probably, eh? Okay. Okay.
It is Philip Hosley who's the fourth rock thrower. The skip Marco throws third.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Curl!
Back and forth we go on the hits. Mike McEwen.
Throw a little heavy, eh?
Way too much fucking ice. It's not fucking fresh.
All right.
Hits that and rolls out.
It's a good throw. It was definitely a bit heavy. Yeah.
So this stone will be delivered through the rings. Final stone of the first end.
Give me just into the 12-foot probably.
Okay.
And that goes all the way through. The blank is in the books. We'll come back for end number 2. Hosley will have the hammer from Ste.Marie when we return.
Are you thinking like 14-5-ish, I think?
Yeah, it should be okay, I think.
Running the sanctuary absolutely brings me peace. The work is 100% cathartic for me. You know, I find myself getting tied up in it and being busy, and then it's really nice just to sit, breathe in life. that's beyond zen.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Do you hear another sound?
And welcome back here to Sault Ste. Marie and the YNCU
13-8-7.
Curling Center. It's
Fuck
the
me.
semifinals of the Henderson
All right,
Medal
let's be
Fall
resilient.
Classic, presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario.
Yeah, set it up again.
We have
Introduce.
this semifinal matchup here between Marco Hosley
let's get into
and
it
Mike
now.
McEwen.
Let's focus up.
I'm Dave Schmell, and I'm joined here
So,
once again by
intern corner.
Jim Nix. And Jim,
intern 2/3.
two teams that have had a lot of success this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Hosley qualified out of A, I believe, and I don't know very much about this team, but playing out of Czechia, I think they play out of, and it's it's going to be interesting to see. And McEwen is, qualified out of B, but at the same time, we know he's been on a roll this year, and he certainly played great in the quarterfinal game against Gushu.
Yeah, Marco Hosley from Glarus, Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
So, right continent.
Yeah. I knew there was somebody in here from Czechia. I just got it mixed up. I'm sort of just jumping in here last second. So I'm
I
not.
believe that was.
Nima, maybe?
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in, buddy. It's quite helpful.
14-8-5.
You're smarter than I am.
Yeah, don't know. Good shot there. Let's come around the corner. Mosley has hammer here. I suppose that's probably a virtue of being a qualifier, maybe. Or did they do a
Good
draw
line.
to the button, perhaps? I'm not sure.
No, they did no draw the button. It was by virtue of him being the A
Good
qualifier,
room.
and the teams kind of moved
Good
through
room.
practice
15-5.
relatively quickly
Shot
in
round.
order to get this game underway. That's why we're here in the second end. Obviously,
Yeah.
been a long weekend for everyone. Even coming through the A bracket, this is the sixth game for Team Hosley.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice qualifying through A because it's just a lot less stress and you get yesterday off and all that, but it also makes for a lot of dead time that you're trying to fill gaps in time, but not too many people would turn that down.
Well, I know our club teams would find a way to fill that time, but that's not advisable
around
if
the
you want to
corner,
be
I think.
competitive.
Top 8, up.
For sure. And Hosley's going to try to make the double here.
Yep. This is second
Copy.
row thrower
Line's good.
Simon Glure.
Line's good. Go ahead.
Copy.
No, line's good. Line's good.
Closely on
Copy.
the brush.
Gotta go, bit.
Go ahead.
Copy.
Curled a bit on him.
No,
but
line's great.
not a bad
Copy.
result.
Right here's your spot. Curl a
It
bit.
does leave them that whole wing of corner guards, which
Yep. Good.
McEwen has to
Yeah.
take into account.
Shot round.
So he's indicating that he's going to rip this guard and shoot over for the roll. You see the brushers changing side to put Colton Flash on the hold side. Here's Kevin Marsh in the black gloves, and just one of them.
Yeah. Did the trick. I don't think, it might have been possible to roll that on the range, but it would have had hit a lot thinner. Probably
14,
not
5,
out
6.
either way.
Yeah, I think Mike was hoping to guard his own with that hit.
Yeah.
14-6.
So here's Glor's second.
You looking for T-line or?
Just throwing T. Line's good.
This could be real good.
Line's good. Yep.
Gets that one and rolls
Line's
to
good.
a really
Line good.
beautiful spot.
Clean.
Nicely controlled shot.
Close. Clean. Yep.
Little heavy. Back
Very
Whoa.
good.
Whoa then. Whoa.
Very
Clean.
good.
Whoa. Curl. Curl. Curl.
That's
curl,
definitely
curl,
one of
curl,
those
curl, curl,
examples where the weight
job.
selection was, critical there and really allowed the shot to be made.
Shot, Colt.
Yeah, you can do a lot with it if you don't, if you throw the right weight for sure. On this ice, it's got enough curl in it. If you throw it down just a little bit, it will curl a lot for you. But yet you can still kind of hold it up there if you've got a couple good sweepers, and these guys all have good sweepers. So, McEwen trying to figure this one out.
How would you figure it out?
Well, I'm a little surprised to see him going with this, no hammer, and pretty early in the game, I thought he might end up hitting the 1 in the 12 foot, almost the same shot he tried a minute ago, where he would hit the 1 in the 12 foot and roll over somewhere. And if you hit it thin, you make the double. If you don't, you stay in the ring somewhere. This is just a little bit more dangerous. The guard's so long, and we've seen that it's hard to throw a rock behind one of these long guards and have it stay there. It's just usually is removable by the opposition. So
13-7.
well, this one's curled really hard, so might be okay.
This is going to come on down and be in a pretty decent position for a second
Get to the
shot.
inside of it a bit. Oh, if that's
Make
there,
that
you
for
see
now.
how
Much
much
it curled. If that yellow one was there, it would be 100% open.
I think so. Half rock.
So it looks like
So-
Hosley's going to probably play the
Guess we're throwing peel.
in-turn hit on his own, maybe.
Yep, so you notice that it is the skip Marco throwing these third rocks.
Whoa. Curl. Straight.
Not totally sure, Dave. I think he might be playing off his own there, possibly. Make the double that way. He'd end up with 2, but if he makes it well, he'll end up with 2 right behind the corner guard.
I'll probably just try and roll frozen for now.
So Marco with his first at 2 here. Gonna try to just come off of it and skinny it. You end up hitting the McEwen rock. And you carry it back to the back 4, so it's McEwen's shot. Mostly sitting second and third. What do you think of that result?
Well, I don't think it's terrible. It's your first reaction is like, well, that's not very good at all. McEwen's now got shot. He didn't have shot a minute ago, and it's but I don't think it's bad at all, actually.
I think
He's going to
that,
try to make the run double.
yeah, it's definitely indicated by the fact that Mike wants
Try to get a little
remove
bit slow
stuff
on
instead
it.
of trying to
Yeah.
improve the position
that
with
you
his
hear?
own rocks.
Yeah, just ever slightly low.
Yeah, ever
Yeah,
so
for
slightly
sure,
low.
yeah.
Bit of a chance it
I
catches
think it's
his
just
own
T
on the way
line.
by, but
Back 4.
we'll see what happens here. Colton Flash. 1, 2, 3. There they all go. Everyone. Adios. Goodbye. See ya later.
Yeah, big shot by Colton Flash.
Okay,
It's
little
hard
bit of room.
sometimes to even
Clean.
see those shots, and just to
Clean.
visualize it and say, well, he could hit this
Clean.
and this and this. It's sometimes
Curl.
very difficult to do.
Clean. Straight. Straight.
Jose still has a pretty good situation here, though. He has hammer.
Real hard.
It's his third, second stone, and he's, trying to nip,
pretty good.
dip around the corner guard.
I don't think it moved. Yeah.
Sweet.
I thought there was
Fairly
a
desirable.
chance that 3 would go. I never saw every one of those leaving the rings.
No, I didn't see that either, actually.
Shot.
Yeah. Half decent.
As we've said many times this weekend, these guys are good.
Yeah, that's right. That was a good sweeping job there just to get that to the 12-foot. Those guys had to go very hard on that. So McEwen's going to try to play the hit and roll. Pick the yellow one out and roll behind his center guard.
Definitely be a nice shot choice if you can make it.
Yeah. He might have switched now. He's going to play the run back on the green one.
I think we're playing off this, whatever he throws here, I think. The only other
A little
shot is
easier
to
shot.
play a double, but then that leaves him this,
Trying to figure out the weight selection. Usually something
leaves him this little hit and
indicated
roll, but
on the top of your head is pretty darn firm.
Yeah.
That's
Not
universal.
that yellow frozen either, right? But I mean, that's a pretty precise shot for him.
So I don't know. It looked like they might be thinking of trying to roll the shooter in. So you'd run the risk of not getting the back one if you tried it too hard. So he's going to do it out here.
Makes the takeout. Jams us onto the rings. Good shot there by the skipper.
I think so.
Yeah.
Try and get half under.
Now Hosley's going to try to have Phillip roll onto
11-5.
the rings underneath here, but
Yeah.
like you said, that
Yeah,
guard
we're
is
just trying to
pretty
get over a little
long,
bit.
rather.
Yeah.
11-5.
Just wants to make sure he's on the ring so McEwen can't come around that guard.
Clean.
Clean.
Whoa, clean. Yep.
Clean.
Whoa, clean. Yep. Yep.
Whoa.
Hard.
Whoa.
Hard. Whoa, curl. Shot.
That's made no problem.
Yeah, it was a real good try. If it rolls another, probably about 2 or 3 more inches, it would be perfect.
Good shot.
But that's pretty good. It's going to be... McEwen can make the little they make the little inside roll here and, maybe force Hosley to draw for his one. You don't want to flirt with that guard too much, though.
So what is he doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Good roll edge
One
on
thing
right.
about it, with the ice breaking the way it does, is it's the guard is...
Probably want to
It's
roll
not
this
like
all the way
sometimes
over.
if you're playing on a little bit straighter ice where that guard is quite as much in play because the rock here will
I think so.
probably come by the guard by 7-8 inches
For him to leave us
or
another
so,
way.
something like that, to be able to make the inside roll with just board weight. But so the guard's not really a factor, is what I'm saying. It's if you hit the guard, you're not going to make the right shot anyways.
He's got a lot of weight here, Beach.
Right on the nose. You can get a little to the inside is good.
Yeah.
Gonna make it, yeah.
Right on the nose with Peel.
Yep.
A little too far.
Just off middle rock.
Yeah, just a little bit of ice.
Really nice effort though, and a pretty good shot. Not that it's a poor shot. It just did roll a little bit further than he would
Right
have
on the nose
liked.
with Peel.
Certainly,
Yeah.
the Swiss team could pick that out
if
of there
we
with
can ever get a little low,
too much of a degree of difficulty and blank the end.
So the blank attempt
Yeah.
is upcoming. Final stone of the second.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Hard.
This needs to come over to get a piece. It does, and it's good enough. The blank is in the books. Still scoreless after 2. Hosley retains the hammer when we return.
Nice to roll in as much as he could.
Yeah.
For him to make the double, I don't know if he can make it the way he wants to make it.
No, he's always rolling away.
Yeah, if the high side double,
Yeah.
so, yeah. And I don't know if he can get enough to the inside to make it.
Here at Red Arena, we are trying to help people through equine therapy. Working with the veterans has been a very amazing experience. Our little motto that we always say is empowerment through horses. I love what I do. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Here at Red Arena, we are trying to help people through equine therapy.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to third end action here in the semifinals of the Henderson Medal Fall Classic in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. We've got a no score in this game yet. A couple of blank ends by the Marco Hosley team. As we move to the third end, expect the action to pick up a little bit here pretty soon. You can't, hard to go through a whole game with blank ends anymore, so. Said Hosley has hammer. Like McEwen playing probably a double here. I can't quite tell from that angle. I think it looks like it's plenty of angle to be able to make the double. Second stone, Kevin Marsh. Wasn't able to pull that one quite off. So Hosley's going to chase this one out in the 12-foot. With hammer, he doesn't really have to do that, but there's nothing really else for him to work with. There's no corner guard set up or anything, so it's not a bad choice. Turn's going to have to move a little bit. Obviously, great sweeping ice. We have great sweepers, but it's great sweeping ice as well. There you go. You got two of them pretty flat now. There's no double there now. McEwen will try to get the roll in behind the center guard. Roll in behind the yellow rock, which is behind the center guard. And as we've said a few times, the guards, if they're as long as that, are really, you need another one to make it work because they can just get to everything behind these guards with this ice. I don't know if he's going to get quite the roll they're looking for. No, just needed to come up a little bit more. So Hosley talking about trying to hit this and rolling all the way across to the back of the 8-foot. Or perhaps now he's maybe thinking about just hitting it and flopping a little bit to our right as we look at the picture and stay in the 12-foot out there.
And for those of you listening here on our feed, we are aware that both audios are coming through on YouTube. We apologize for that. We're trying to run through some checklists here and figure out where exactly the fault is there. We're going to get that fixed as quickly as we possibly can.
Nice shot there by the Hosley team. Colton Flash trying the same shot that Marsh tried. This one's got a curl probably a little bit more yet as well. It'd be close. Nicely done. Really nice weight control there by Colton Flash. Definitely can be got to though, and roll to the 8 back out into the 8-foot would be good for Hosley. Marco Hosley. He's down as a skip, but he does throw third stones. It's a good looking shot here. Just needs to come up a hair. Very nicely done. See Mike now calling for an intern for a minute. He might change it, but at first he was calling for the intern little hit and flop behind the guard, which would indicate how much this ice curls. Certainly not. You wouldn't be able to do that on most curling club conditions where it would never curl enough to make that. Colton Flash's second rock of the third end. This could be really good. Didn't get it out though, I don't think. It's pretty big if he didn't remove it because it definitely, he keeps saying how much it curls, and you can definitely get this green stone out on the out turn and roll over into the onto the wings and be sitting 3 and have McEwen in some definite trouble. Looked a little bit tight out of his hand. Oh, they've got it now. They straightened it out. They should be okay. Very close, though. Very close. Great shot. Well swept. Can he hold it? And it will stay around out in the 12-foot. Great shot. Forces McEwen pretty much to play the double. You'll see it again here. At first it looked like he might be going to over curl, but they hammered it pretty good and got by probably a good solid inch. And just light enough to hold on to the shooter. Very well played by Marco Hosley. So McEwen now trying to make the double. Start thinking about minimizing the damage here. At this point, he'd love to get out of this with just a 1 point score of 1 on either side, but I don't think he'd be terribly upset with a deuce right now. Oh, this is not going to be... No, he got away with it. He darn near got them all, but he also came pretty close to not getting that one out, so turned out to be a good shot for Mike McEwen. Interesting to see where Hosley wants to go on this shot. I'm thinking he's probably going to want to just stay right there. McEwen probably would take a run at the double, but it would be a really steep and difficult double. So this is fourth thrower Philip Hosley. Going pretty hard here, trying to make sure it doesn't overcurl on them. They need to stay, and he will. Very good shot. So you can see on the overhead there, the angle is pretty darn steep to make the double. But I think the way the year's going for Mike and how well he's been playing lately, he probably feels that this is a definite doable shot. He can't hit much of that one, though. The problem with that is he'll probably go out turn. If he goes out turn, he has to hit probably only an inch or so of that rock. Anything more than that, and it'll just go over the top of the other one. So McEwen's last rock here in the third end. His last rock. There's one more to come after this.
Up here we have Mike McEwen here during his final of the third. To make this hit, big on roll across. Can you get the double just over the? What a great effort!
Yeah, really good try for Mike McEwen. He just had to curl another quarter of an inch. It's hard to do when you're throwing that turn and the rock is curling away from the one you're trying to hit. You don't want to miss it, and he had to almost miss it to make it. A great effort.
So now it's going to be a draw for 2. For Team Hosley.
Lovely shot.
And they score their dues. They take that 2-0 advantage. Moving into the fourth end, we'll return on Curling Stadium right after this.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
back here in the fourth end. Here from Sault Ste. Marie in the YNCU Curling Center, it's the Henderson Medal Fall Classic presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. Dave Schmel and Jim Nixon, only Dave Schmel and Jim Nix joining you right now. We thank you for your patience through that. The marvels of the technology that allow us to do this for you also sometimes bite us in the tuchus. So big score deuce. I mean, McEwen came ever so close to getting out of it, though, Jim.
Yeah, really close. Yeah, he tried that big crosshouse double, and you had to hit it so thin. It was a scary shot. You're letting that rock curl away from the object stone, and it just barely went over the top by less than an inch. It's just to touch it too. It was really only had about 3 inches of the 12 foot, so any contact at all, and the second rock would have went out. But a solid end by the Hosley team. They did play a very good end to set that up.
Well, they certainly deserved to score that deuce. That's for sure. See another guard forthcoming here with one in the rings, electing to cover things up here some. So staying a little bit on the offense here.
Yeah, nice to see. Actually, it's a pretty good setup right now. So he's figuring, well, I'm just going to run with this and see what happens. And Simon Glore I believe it was Simon Glore on the brush there, did a great job of taking that rock as far as he did and overlapping the green one slightly.
And Jim, I understand we had a big score in our other semifinal.
Yeah, I just looked over there and Dunstone picked up a 5 in the second end. Returnas was ahead 2-0. That's the part we could see. And then all of a sudden Dunstone got a 5. That's a massive end, obviously. And I don't know how it would have happened, but I'm sure there had to be a big shot or two along the way.
That gets just a little wick, and that's going to clog things up for Team McEwen here. They had to be close to that just to try to get by, but with all the curl on these rocks, that was the line to get to the stone they wanted to, but it just ticked it. And now Hosley trying to see how he can best take advantage of it.
Yeah, I thought he might try to remove that rock, and don't know if that would have been terribly wise, but I thought he might anyways. It looks like he is going to throw, I'm thinking, a guard here, a high guard. I don't know what else he could be doing on this side, so.
You see all the great fans that are out there watching this weekend. It's been a great turnout all weekend. Fans braving the cold, sitting there, and lots of support for curling in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was saying the other day that I had a little, and I'm an ex-Ontario guy, so I should have had an idea, but I couldn't figure out how Sault Ste. Marie could be in Northern Ontario if it was just across the border from the U.S., but dug the maps out, old school, and had a look, and now I got it figured out.
Well, ours is a oddly shaped nation. Until you get out west, then we just drew a straight line.
Yeah. Good peel there by Marsh. I don't know what we're going to do. The Marsh guys are all messed up now. We got one guy with one white glove on, or maybe he's got two now, and somebody else with none on. So it's
yeah. So Dan Marsh has the white glove.
Yeah.
Kevin Marsh has the black glove.
Yeah, and I would think it'd be, a little bit warm out there, but there's no sweeper, only one or few sweepers. I guess actually the guy's Hosley sweepers, and one of the Marsh brothers is just in a golf shirt there, so might not be too bad, but just indicate how brave all of our fans on the ice are, because it gets a little cold sitting out in the old rink when you're not doing anything. This looks pretty good. Just trying to guard the green one, guard McEwen's potential raise takeout.
See, at least when you're spectating, you get to move around. You can move around if you want and maybe pop into the lounge for a moment. The coldest job in curling is on ice official.
Yeah, for sure. So McEwen's trying to create some way to get into that yellow shot rock in there, and so trying to open things up a little bit. He might be able to run the yellow actually onto the green, onto the yellow, so that could end up happening here yet. Not quite, but he's going to hang around. So I think he's only number 3. He's got number 3 and number 4, though, but he does have to be careful.
And taking a little extra second to line things up because, as I said, not in trouble, but trouble could lurk with a miss here.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sometimes it just sneaks up a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit to minimize that possibility here. A little wide to me when he let it go, but can he get it over far enough?
Gonna get it over and past it. Yes, he does. Marco Hosley lies 1 and 2.
That was a very nice shot. You can see it coming down here. Just great weight control. And about this point, you're wondering if it's going to curl enough, but they jump on it, work it hard, trying to carve it over, and just get it over the perfect amount and end up with an absolutely perfect guard on the rock on the top of the button.
Now, looks like Colton Flash is going to start to make some hay here.
Yeah, Colton will be looking for the double here. He might even be able to get his to bite the 12-foot when he's done.
All right, so trying to get 2 to go and maybe hang on. You get 1, bang, bang. There they go. Miss their own in the back. Doesn't quite spin on, but a well-thrown stone by Colton Flash.
Yeah, very good shot. You see it here. Colton specializes in these kinds of shots, so no surprise to see him make this one. And he said he might be able to get his on. He couldn't quite get it on, but it came really close. I don't know for sure if it was possible to get it on there or not.
It certainly was really, really close. So now Philip Hosley's going to head on back. He is the 4th rock thrower.
Yeah, he'll look to come right around the guard here. He's really looking for a force now, which is definitely set up to make that happen. It's starting to move now.
It does get past the guard. Do you get it deep enough?
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah, probably pretty good here. So McEwen looking at that rock that's pretty well dead buried.
Yeah, and he's probably going to have to draw on his next one. So he'll come around here. Wouldn't be a bad shot if he can just get down there, corner that yellow one, maybe move the yellow one 2 or 3 inches and sit shot. It'll be very hard for Hosley to remove it. It's amazing now however many rocks we've watched go down the sheet of this weekend. It's you still, when they're going down there, you're thinking, man, this one's got to curl a lot. I don't know if it's going to curl that much, and everyone does. It's just, you'd think you'd believe it by now. It's a tough shot to get shot on. If you don't get shot, Jose might just opt to play a guard. Force you to draw for one.
And apparently our technical problems might be raising their ugly heads again, so we apologize for that if they are. Ongoing troubleshooting.
Mike McEwen with the out turn. Guys are going pretty hard on this. This could be a little light.
You definitely need to get this there, or else you're going to get forced for sure. Might even be in steal position for Hosley now.
Well, that's a rare miss for Mike McEwen, but definitely a miss. Could make his next one a little bit tougher too, because now Hosley can come around and have maybe the top of the button if he chooses to. They're suggesting perhaps Glarus suggesting perhaps you just throw a rock biting 8-foot. I'd be a little careful with that. You set up a triple here somewhere. The triple's for 3. So I think they settle on just a straight come around, probably just to the top of the button.
So here comes Philip Hosley. Looking to make a really good come around here to make it very, very difficult for Mike McEwen to get his single. Philip's final stone is on the way. Got to get past the guard. Oh, you're going to wreck there. And you lie 1, 2, and 3. Is there anything crazy there, Jim?
Well, it looks to me like there is, but I don't think he'll play that. I think it's 2-0. I think he's going to draw for his 1. It's, if you go after the triple, you could end up giving up 2, and the ball game might be pretty close to being over at that point with a 4-0 lead. So I think it's tough enough that it's not worth the risk, in my opinion. But looks like Mike might be able to be convinced otherwise. I definitely think the angles work. It's a little bit questionable on the high one and the one on the left of the overhead. You got to hit it thin enough that I don't know for sure if the triple will work if you hit it in the right spot. I think your shooter might go over top of the yellow in the 12-foot. And if you hit it thin enough to make that happen, I'm not sure this one, the high one goes out, might just jam.
So definitely got to do some trigonometry here.
Yeah.
So that's sine of opposite over hypotenuse.
Yeah. Well, Russ always talks about 90-degree angles. You got to draw 90-degree angles for these shots, Russ Howard, and it's not sure that it's going to be doable. I don't think it quite works. But he might be going to give it a go. Be a heck of a shot if he makes it.
Well, we'll preemptively put a quarter in the replay machine.
Yeah. And it seems like the whole team, nice thing about a shot like this, if the whole team buys into it, then it works out pretty good. Sometimes you have a situation where not everybody agrees on it, and you don't like that because that just ends up being, not the best scenario.
So the idea is to come off that one in the top of the 8-foot, over to the 12-foot, jam it there, and catch the other one on the way by, and lose all three by the time you're done and score a deuce. Mike McEwen.
Yeah. I think it's to score 3.
Oh, 3, that's even better.
Yeah.
Mike McEwen to try to score 3. Final zone of the 4th end. On the way. Flash trying to hold the line on it hard now, off and on. This is going to be really close. You get 1, 2, oh, just the one, and you whiz on by. It's going to be a steal of 1 for Hosley. And he has a 3-0 advantage. We'll be back with that number 5 after this from Sault Ste. Marie. You're watching Curling Stadium.
I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to landscaping. I've studied soil down to the microbes. It's that level of detail I bring to my work and to my business. Straight lines and a healthy ecosystem is what I'm all about.
We're back here in the 5th end. And we were talking about that last shot and the potential risk rewards about it there, Jim.
Yeah, there's obviously a certain amount of that with these teams in every game. There's a time when you got to really assess that. And for me there, I didn't feel real good about the angles. And I think I liked the idea of just taking my 1 and being down 2-1 versus 3-0. It was kind of like an all or nothing shot for me. It seemed like you weren't going to ever end up with 2. You were either going to get 3 or you're going to give up 1. So it was just a little too hard. It just didn't line up quite as good as they do usually when somebody makes a triple. You can just see it. It says, it works. But so yeah, it's but like I say, that the whole team seemed to buy into that, and they were all good to give it a go. So they just have a longer way back.
And Mike's been making a lot of them so far this weekend, so I don't blame him having the confidence to put the broom down.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. It's he's been on a roll, been making almost everything, and his confidence is sky high, I'm sure, and that's part of the game. That's part of being able to play shots like that and make a lot of them. It's you got to feel good about him. You got to feel good about being able to throw it, and he did, and it just didn't work.
That's definitely part of your team dynamic. You're supporting your skip there, and when the skip is feeling it, you just let them roll and try to stay out of the way for the most part.
Yeah.
Alternatively, if they're struggling, you try to set up that maybe they get a little bit more of a layup.
Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, it's going to be an uphill battle now for Mike McEwen here. Facing a 3-stone deficit, does have the hammer. Not insurmountable by any stretch.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's you go come back, get your 2, and force to 1 and get 2, and you're tied. You're not even at the last end yet. So,
whoa, that just squeaked by. It's amazing how close these guys are clearing guards by.
Yeah, I know. All weekend's been like that. It really is. It is impressive.
Some excellent shot management and sweeping by so many of these teams. And you would expect it because we had 28 of the best teams here for more than $100,000 in purse money. So it brought everybody out, and they all came to play.
This one's just a little warm, maybe, or no, it's going to die.
Well, that died at just exactly the right moment.
Yeah. So Hosley's just going to play a little bit of a tap here, I believe, just a back 8-foot sort of thing, and shuffle him around a little bit.
So the big man trying to shuffle up the deck here a little bit. Pass the guard, no problem, and just unlock them just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great shot, really. It moved them so that green one can be removed now. It doesn't jam on anything,
and the one he moved is just T-line height still. It's not like he even made it that good of a picture yet.
Yeah.
So Flash just with a heavy clean right now. Daniel Marsh providing moral support. There's another nifty little shot, just kind of massaging things around.
Yeah, this would be an interesting call here. Obviously indicates maybe the little tap.
Yeah, possibly a little tap. Also looked at maybe playing off of the McEwen rack now. You see, that's what Glure seems to like.
Yeah, it's not a bad call either. It eliminates, hit about, half or a little less of that green one. You're going to eliminate one McEwen stone, and you're going to roll right on top of everything else that's there. Probably the best shot.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I like that. I think the sales pitch is getting through here.
Yeah. The yellow's tappable, if you will, but it means you're probably going to leave another green one around, and I don't know if you really want to keep leaving those around. Somewhere along the line, they may come back to haunt you.
Really important end for Hosley to get the force here because it would really solidify that steal, and he'd flip the hammer back for the 6 and have a 2-to-1 hammer advantage with the lead.
Yeah, exactly. If you can do that here, you're in really good shape playing the 6th end up 2 with the hammer. That's a pretty good scenario.
I do believe they just indicated they want to call timeout, so this spiel is being played on the clock.
Yeah, kind of an odd time to call it. It's like you already.
No, maybe they didn't call it. It looked like I'll take that back. It looked like I thought I saw Glure make the little T there, but the clock's still running. They have plenty of time, about 16 minutes.
Yeah.
So here's the skip, Marco Hosley. He throws third on this squad. Just looking to clear that and come up and under and into the pile. Probably hit that a little thinner than he would have wanted to.
Yeah, he hit that. Yeah, kind of odd. He didn't get as good a result out of that as I thought. At first, I thought he was going to make it perfect. I thought both green ones were going to disappear, but it's still a real good setup, I think, for him.
Many teams have those dynamics where the skip doesn't necessarily throw the last 2 stones anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I guess just want to make sure you're playing to everybody's strengths on the team.
Yeah.
You know, the Italian team that we see there on the side there, they follow a similar strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and not anymore for this one because they just shook. So they're that game is over. Returnez losing 9-2 to Dunstone. Dunstone will move on to the final.
So maybe a different lineup would have been appropriate at that moment, but but they had a great run through this. Of course, making the semifinals, no small task in a field of this size.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, they've had a good few years too. So
here's Flash. They're working to hold it so they get the right roll here. They're just trying to get that and nestle on in, and they liked it, but do we?
Well, the problem was I don't know if there was anything that was going to turn out really good for McEwen there. It just seemed like there was no shot that was going to be good on its own. So I think it's I think it's a development shot. It's there. It's in a decent spot. The other team has to throw, unfortunately, so it might change a little bit here in a minute. He's going to play a little tap, I think, on his own. But I think it was good. It was as good as you were going to do. It's got, it's number 3, I think, and might still come into play here somewhere as we go on.
So here's Marco Hosley. Bringing this one down. Not a whole bunch of weight here. You're going to come on down to your yellow, tap it right on up. I think you were hoping to be on the corner of the McEwen rock there. Still not too bad.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, Dave. He was hoping to get another inch of curl out of that and be right on the green when there's no question about that. But
saving grace, if there is one there, is that there's a whole bevy of catchers. If he takes a run at this with weight from the right side that we're looking at, that one's going to hang around someplace.
Yeah, it's Mike just indicating that shot. That's not a bad option either. He could play the yellow onto the other yellow and spin it off a little bit and maybe get himself a little something to work with, but I don't know that anything real good comes out of that. But I think that yellow one that's there, I think that one you have to do something with that, the one that they just threw.
So obviously a lot of angles here, and
yeah.
Now we're going to invite the Marsh brothers down and talk about this some more.
So do you think, being identical twins, that they would have the same thoughts on all these shots, or what?
Oh boy. I guess that would bring us into the whole nature nurture argument.
Yeah. Anyway, they've decided on something, so
I'm pretty sure we're not smart enough to have that discussion, Jim.
No, probably not. No. No. We had a hard enough time Googling to figure out who was who. So going to play a little tap on I think they're just going to play the yellow back and just flop inside a little bit, I think, Dave. Is that what you've gathered from that? I'm not 100%, but that sort of seems like to me. Yeah, it looks like
that seems what they're looking to do. I like it better than a big weight shot.
Yeah. You would have the shot rock, or you'd have the yellow one anyways, certainly surrounded after this.
So here's the stone from Flash. This needs to curl up. Now Marsh is going to try to move it over to help it over. Want to get all the way across the face. You tap it, you clear it, and you roll right up over on your own. Just about as good as they asked for. So result they wanted. Nice shot.
We'll they had to work to get this one to where they wanted it to be. It might have overcurled a tiny little bit. I'm not sure that they would like to have that stagger the way it ended up. It does put the yellow rock in a position where it might be a little bit harder to remove, but still a good shot. Might have been a timeout signal by Hoesli there. They were looking at hitting that green one on the back of the button and just rolling off to the left and sit right there. And the only problem with that, of course, it makes maybe the intern raise takeout on the green yellow that much easier because the back rock won't be there.
It's not that often that you see both teams so focused on in the fifth end on an outcome, but I think they both sense that this is really going to be an inflection point here.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's you got to make sure you don't leave anything for a big score here, and the big score that I see happening right now would be the angle raise takeout from McEwen. I would not want to leave that for him, so I don't like any kind of a long guard out there. I think at the end of the day, I'd like to get that green one to go away that's on the back of the button. Maybe roll a little bit to your left. Bite the edge of the forefoot, perhaps. I think they're playing maybe a similar shot to that.
Do you think there's enough curl in the ice that you could actually come around that outturned side and get to 1-2?
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, I definitely think there is. I don't think that's what they're going to play because they just have less ice than that. But yeah, you could do that. I think they like the idea of moving a rock and at least move maybe the back green one out.
So really delicate shot here for Philip Hosley. Looking to move things around. He can't move them too far or else your stone's going to be really vulnerable.
You know what? He's not doing any of that. He's throwing a guard. I don't know. I don't like this at all. I just...
So what makes that bad, Jim?
Well, I don't like the fact that you've left McEwen a hard shot, but a makeable shot with that angle raise. It's only McEwen's first one, so I don't think he's going to play it right now. But I think he's going to go where he just tapped right there, top 4 foot, and then say, okay, bud, you better make this one really good because I've got a whole lot of ways to get the yellow one out. I would have liked to have removed a rock there. And the guard is, I guess you were guarding something, but you were really guarding, I don't know what, because he would have been able to play the raise takeout and maybe got rid of one. I think you're still going to be green, only counting one at the end of that. But
now I feel somewhat vindicated here because it looks like McEwen wants to throw my draw.
Yeah. And that's a good call right now. I think I like that idea of just being down there, just being on top of that yellow, or just short of that yellow by a bit. And I really, like I say, it's a bit scary or it should be a bit scary for the Swiss team, where you've got shot and he's got number 2 and number 3 and number 4.
It's going to make that target for McEwen that much bigger if you get one in here then.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Mike McEwen with the draw, the big swing on the out turn. Flash on it early to hold it. Got to hold that line because we've seen huge swing. Now it's going to put the blinker on, and both of them are going to try to bring it home past the guard. Now, do you get it all the way there? Keep on going, boys. Ooh, just a little bit short. And did you foul that run?
Yeah, it's tough. It's not a horrible shot, but it's you would like to have been a little tighter for sure, because it's kind of in your way now too for the angle raise takeout. I mean, now it becomes a double angle raise takeout, so it's a much harder shot.
Well, there might be enough room to actually use the rock you just threw.
Oh, there is. No question about it. I'm just thinking
there's not much room.
No. And if Hosley decides to guard that shot and leave that angle raise takeout, that angle raise is now just that much harder, but still makeable. You still got to be really careful with this.
I suppose I suppose if you guard that, if you're Mike McEwen, you could maybe run the yellow guard into your green that's on the top of the 4 and try to get to that shot rock that way. It would still leave you with a bundle. You'd probably be able to hit it in such a way that the stony run goes away.
Yeah, you could turn it into a couple points for sure still. And you might end up having to do that anyways. It's going to be interesting here. He's going to play this hit. He's playing with some weight too, I think, because he hasn't got much ice.
So Phil Hosley with his final here in the 5th. On it, right out of his hand. This is curling like a banshee. Gonna work hard just to get past the guard. They do, and they remove just that one stone and actually jiggle off a McEwen rock along the way. So they sit 1. McEwen is 2nd. Tight for 3rd and 4th, and 5th it belongs to McEwen.
Yeah, this is interesting. I didn't really like that shot. I just think that it was, and I think he just probably threw it, without sounding nasty with it. I think it's like sometimes you throw a shot with a little bit of scare or worry in it, and it's kind of like a scared shot a little bit, and he ends up throwing it inside and doesn't get what he was looking for at all, because you're just afraid of throwing it outside by 2 inches and having a jam on your own. I didn't really like that particular call on that one.
Yeah, it was just like he wasn't all in.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better way to put it. Yeah, and he might have been. I don't know. It just the way he threw it just seemed like it wasn't really the way he's been throwing them. So, and now he's opened up this angle raise slash again too. The only saving grace he has, it's going to be hard to make it and have the yellow one on the button go very far, because it's going to get caught up in a whole bunch of stuff on the back there. So it might still be, you could make a great shot here and still only get a point out of it, but He's got to make it first, and probably would end up getting a couple if he makes it.
Well, it's going to be one heck of a shot if it's made. Takes just a sliver more ice. Mike's going to see if he has any magic left in that stick. Final stone of the fifth end coming. Mike McEwen. He's looking for the long angle raise. Flash just keeping it clean. Needs to curl up a touch to make it. Rattles things around and you're not going to get there. And it's a steal 1 for Marco Hosley. And they take a 4-0 lead into end number 6. We'll be back from Sault Ste. Marie right after this.
Running the sanctuary absolutely brings me peace. The work is 100% cathartic for me. You know, I find myself getting tied up in it and being busy, and then it's really nice just to sit, breathe in life, and it's beyond zen.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
And we're back here in end number 6 of Sault Ste. Marie. This is the Henderson Medal Fall Classic presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. We'd like to welcome everyone who's joined us who's watching our other semifinals where Dunstone threw up big numbers and threw them up quickly. And now it is Marco Hosley with a 4-0 lead over Mike McEwen. And it's going to be an uphill battle from here, Jim.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 4 points is a big deficit with just 3 ends to go. So Mike absolutely has to get a couple here, and really 3 would make things a little bit more realistic, because you get 2, you're going to have to steal 3 times. So he'll be going really hard here to try to get his deuce and maybe even turn that into 3. Hosley, on the other hand, I expect to play pretty much all defense here, but he fools me a little bit with some of the shots that they play. They were pretty brave leaving that 1 yellow rock in there protected, but not fortified, if you will. So anyway, we'll see. He may still stay on the offense here.
Well, sometimes there's merit in sticking with the game plan that's working at the moment, but right now the game plan for McEwen is guards, and Hosley was probably a little bit light on that come-around attempt. So that really serves as another guard for McEwen right now.
Yeah.
Dave Schmel joined with Jim Nix. And all of our friends who are joining us and have been with us all weekend, once again, we thank you for tuning in to Curling Stadium's coverage of this great bonspiel. So here's Simon Glore. And they're electing to guard their one in the house here.
Yeah, I thought at first they were going to go right into the house, but they decided to go with a guard. And Mike won't be disappointed to see the guard go up. for me, the trick for Hosley here is to make sure he just doesn't let an end build at all. If he might get something around the guard or whatever color the guard is, I think you got to get rid of it and make sure you don't give up more than a couple here.
So Kevin Marsh comes on in, probably a little later than they wanted, but it's in a good line position, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a pretty good shot. I mean, sometimes you got to know a little bit what the other guy's going to do, and you have to expect he's not going to try to pick that out right now.
So here come the peels. First one gets, holy crap, everything moving on the way by.
Yeah.
1, 2 guards, and one in the rings. Adios, sayonara. See you later. What a big shot.
Yeah, it was good to get rid of all that stuff. Only one guard left to work with here, and I would think if Marsh makes this one good, then Hosley will just run the yellow one back or peel it off and plan on making a double somewhere to keep Mike to just 2. That's what I think, anyways.
This draw's going to come behind the tee line. So now we're on third stones. It will be Marco Hosley.
He's going after the run back.
Here's the first from the skipper here in 6. He gets 1. He gets 2 moving. And there's a nicely executed shot there.
Yeah, you can see here. I would think fairly safe to say he'd like to hit this a little bit on the left side as we look at it. But it curled early. He might have helped it out a little bit, and they swept really hard just to hold it and make sure they get rid of the 1, but they end up leaving the center guard. Not the preferred result, but not bad.
Well, we went from a very congested house to one that looks like a prairie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mike McEwen, being from the prairie provinces rather.
Is he from there?
No stranger.
No. So this is wide open enough that Marco's going to go after it. One in the back.
Mike McEwen's from Winnipeg.
Yeah. So I didn't quite know what you were asking there. So.
Oh, just can't get that all the way out. Hopefully that won't matter. If that matters, it's really bad for McEwen.
Yeah. Mike gonna go right around again.
Part of that quick Google told me that I am 14 days Mike's senior.
Oh, yeah? Jeez, you guys are just young bucks.
That was Corey Dropkin. We called his game earlier.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They used to be young bucks. It's a pretty nice shot. Above the tee line, too.
Yeah, not bad at all. Is McEwen sitting first and third here?
They really need to make some contact with the green rocks in the house here.
A well thrown stone should get rid of both of them. Let's see if let's see if he can make it happen. This is a big shot here for Philip. On the brush hard. The top one, you got it one, and you got the one out of the house. So partially successful, wasn't able to clear them both.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be pretty brave on that one and let it curl up a little bit more if you really wanted to make the double peel. But did get rid of one, which was really important. Still left a guard out here, but Mike is going to have to leave something at least partly open here with where the guard is. I think he'll try to get around and sort of do that whole Christmas tree effect where he gets 2/3 of the rock behind the guard and 1/3 of it still stuck out.
You see there on the time clocks in the back, just a shade under 6 minutes now left for Team McEwen with 2 ends left to play.
Yeah, it's quite a difference in the amount of time they've used, but that's what happens when you're behind usually.
This one curls up. Probably a little deeper than they would have hoped, but they do get it in there in line 1-2. Should be available to slash, wouldn't you think, Jim?
Yeah, definitely a possibility, for sure. I think it's going to be probably from the hack, probably 2/3 to 3/4 open, and you're only planning on hitting about half a rock, and so definitely doable and a good opportunity here actually to get rid of both stones and have Mike probably try to blank because your shooter have to assume the shooter's going to roll out. McEwen would blank and take hammer to the 7th. Down 4 zip. Got to make sure you throw this one good though.
Here's Philip Hosley with his final, the 6th. Working hard to get past the guard. You do. Bang, bang, and away they go.
Yeah, that was a really big shot. You can see here, he just threw, he's going to throw it firm and have to just take your eyes off the guards and not see those rocks. Sweat pretty hard to hold it out there early and just came off and let it come up that little bit and no problems at all. Good shot.
So, yeah, absolutely great shot by Philip Hosley here. And now Mike McEwen on the blank attempt. To hold on to the hammer to give himself a chance in 7. And away it goes. The blank is in the book. And we will head to the 7th end with Hosley with a 4-rock lead over Mike McEwen. Be back from Sault Ste. Marie right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
Here at Red Arena, we are trying to help people through equine therapy. Working with the veterans has been a very amazing experience. Our little motto that we always say is empowerment through horses. I love what I do. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
In Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
We're back here in Sault Ste.Marie. 7th end action. You see there the time clock's 5 minutes remaining for Team McEwen, plenty of time for Team Hosley. And McEwen's going to have to make the best of those 5 minutes and 10 seconds because he trails 4 at this point, Jim.
Yeah, desperation measures for the McEwen team here. He's got to get a couple of corner guards up, and I'll be interested to see whether he stacks the corner guards or if he goes other sides. He's going to throw the two on the same side. It's sort of a thing people do now. I haven't got much experience in playing that personally. I never have done that. We've always done the two sides. And I think this works. I don't know about down 3 or down 4 rather. It's, not sure, but regardless, he's going to get some cards out there that can't be removed, and then he'll work at getting some in around it. Try to somehow manufacture a 3 here. You really don't want to go to the last end down 2 without the hammer. It probably has happened, but I doubt this happened very often that you'll steal a couple. So,
Yeah, a little bit deeper than they wanted. I know that McEwen had originally tapped right past the hog line as his desired outcome there.
Yeah, definitely too deep. Marco can't do anything about it just yet, but in a minute when he decides he wants to peel the corner, they're much easier to get rid of both than what you had planned. Usually you want those things lined up pretty straight with each other so that it becomes virtually impossible for somebody to make the double peel and get rid of the shooter as well.
So they're discussing their strategy here. Looks like they settled on just coming down into the 4-foot.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be throwing any kinds of guards or anything here, and just add another rock that Mike's going to have to do something about. It's very nicely done.
So I think Mike is going to be forced to throw a higher one there. Because just as you just said, Jim, those 2 guards can go away with the next stone.
Yeah.
So try to find a way to preserve those rocks and add a guard to the pile.
Yeah, he's looking about moving this top one a little bit and adding you'll end up with another rock up front. He could come around that whole bunch of rocks and Hosley will peel it off, no doubt, the 2 guards, but you could be behind the yellow one.
So Kevin Marsh's rock, Colton Flash, just going to ticket. The guard's going to advance into the rings.
I don't think that was really the plan, but you still got the guards to work with, and
the guards are both accessible. Are you surprised that they're going after the one in the house here first?
yeah, not totally. It's pretty much wide open, and you know, it's kind of a 6 and 1 half does the other. I think if you peel both guards off, then Mike's going to throw a corner back up there. You're going to have to keep going at it. It's pretty much open. I don't think there's anything terribly wrong with this. I know where you're going with it. It's you know, quite often teams will ignore rocks that are in the house and peel the corners, but I'm not against this one. I don't quite know how Mike's going to use all those green ones unless he makes a really nice hit and roll here.
So Mike's going to try to come under here. You see him indicate it, you know, a little bit quiet. We don't need to kill this crazily.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to be heavy on this for sure.
And we got a guy like Flash who can hold it out there. No reason not to use that. Gets a hit and the roll under. Probably would have liked to roll just a skosh more there. Very short tap back available.
I think for me now,
If
I'd
you-
like to get rid of those guards. Like if you don't make this, or you pop it through the hole, or you take a guard or something, I don't see the shot. I think I'd be peeling the guards off. If I can get rid of both of them, I'm going to peel them off.
Marco Hosley. Working hard to get past the guard. Slide past the guard. Oh, you did end up wrecking on it. Just as Jim had feared.
McEwen's still going to need some help here. He's going to have to. They're going to have to make all 4 of their shots remaining, and they're going to have to get a little bit of a break from the Hosley team because it's the yellow one's so close to the green that, and with no guard on it now, that even though they're going to play a hit and roll behind, they could be sitting 2 here buried, but they're still pretty accessible, I think. So he's going to need a little more good fortune yet.
Colton Flash and Marsh is on this all day to try to hold it there.
Yeah, really nice shot.
They lie 1-2.
The run double's definitely there.
So you think that will go?
Yeah, it would go. Yeah, I think he'll be happy with 1, so I don't think he's going to try real hard to make it, but I definitely think it'll go.
Here goes Hosley. He gets 1, and well, why don't you get them all?
Wow.
What a shot.
Yeah, good shot. I think the green one's still counting, still in, but
That was very interesting too. Yeah, very interesting because it looked like the yellow was kind of chasing it and actually double tapped it in the way through.
Yeah. Where did we get that camera angle? That was a pretty good shot. So Mike's got no choice here but to go around the guard, and that's fine because right now he's in a position where he actually has his opportunity to get 3. Because if he makes this really good, you would assume that Hosley will peel the 2 guards, and then McEwen splits the house, probably, or he throws a tight bite in the house guard. Anyway, the point is he should have a shot at 3 if he makes everything really good here. And assuming the one at the back is in, I think it is, just the way Mike tapped it too. I think he was indicating it's there.
That was a great view of the 2 featured sheets here at the YNCU Curling Center. Look at all those loyal fans. All between both sides, and I'm sure more in the lounge. couple hundred probably here in total.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize they had them on both sides, actually.
And they've been treated to some great curling all weekend long. So with that one possibly still nibbling there, since we know we can make that camera angle shot, we'll ask for a tight look at that a little bit later, maybe after this one.
Yeah,
what's your best? Yeah, what's your best defense here?
Well, I'm peeling the guards. I'm going to get rid of those guards, and then whatever Mike does on his next shot, I'm going to try to make a double and get out of this with a 2. I don't want to do something here, and let's say you make this, you put it on the tee line, and somehow he's able to get to it and flop behind the guard again. Now all of a sudden you're going to have to make a heck of a draw to not give up 4. So I just, it's a little bit of a different game plan than I think I would have, or probably most people would have, but obviously they like the idea.
And they made a pretty good shot along the way here.
Yeah, they did. It's, I think it will curl enough. And he might not try to remove it right now if he just gets down so he's on the nose of the yellow, and the green one nose are a little bit towards the outside on that one so that he can get it on the next shot. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, plenty of room to get that for sure.
Yeah.
Now, they did not have much time remaining. The last time I saw it was 2:46, and I think they may have just called timeout.
Well, probably not a bad time to use one if you're going to, this is going to be the ball game here, one way or the other.
So, Colton comes on down. Kevin didn't get an invitation to the party.
No, he's coming anyway.
Oh, there he goes. News travels slowly sometimes in the Sioux.
It'll be interesting what he decides to do here. It's just, if you knew you could come by the guard tight enough and tap the yellow right out to the left where he just indicated, and just make a little flop in behind that corner guard, I think that would be the A shot. If that's makeable and doable, then I think you have a really good chance at 3 and possibly a chance at 4. And if you're not sure about that, then you have to make sure that you get it to a position where you can get it on the next shot.
It does look like they're going to try to dig it.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision, really. I think at this point in the game, I think that's a good decision. Even if you don't get it out, you can hit it and just flop behind. You're going to have 2 of them behind there now, and Hosley having to decide whether or not he's going to go in there again or what he's going to do. So it's I like this call.
So you see there, less than 2 minutes left for Team McEwen. Got to throw a dandy here. A little downweight shot and just kind of nestle that yellow back in the rings. All about the line call here. It's got to carve on over, bring it over, push it back. You didn't get all the way over. So.
No, it didn't work out terribly well. Hosley could probably make the double on the green ones even now.
I think it might catch the yellow on the way across.
Huh? And it might, yeah. I think there's enough room, but there might not be. And really, if you could hit it and just flop in there behind those guards anywhere would be good. Just so you didn't set up you don't want to set up the double here for a 3.
So Philip Hosley throwing the last stones for Marco with his final stone of the 7th. He asked for just a shade less ice. on the way. Glor holding it there. Holding it there. You get the hit. You get the perfect flop. Nice shot indeed.
Yeah, really good shot. I don't think McEwen could do anything with those.
I don't think the wizardry available here. They're going to take their second time out. And Jim, do you see anything?
No, nothing at all. I think this timeout really could be just discuss where you're going to eat, because it's I don't see how he's ever going to get them all unless this intern can come up enough. But then I can't see it ever coming enough to get rid of both yellows and staying. So I don't see much.
Well, if anything else, I hope that their choice of restaurant has had their heating and cooling equipment installed by Henderson Metal, and they ride on a Kioti tractor to get there.
Yeah. That would be cool on a tractor, but what the hell, those Prairie guys are tough.
See some other sponsors of the event. The Delta Hotel there on the waterfront might have a nice restaurant.
Yeah, they may well. They probably do.
They might be staying there.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. I don't think there's anybody too optimistic on this. I think it's I don't even know what Flash is thinking. I know what he's thinking, but I just don't think it's there.
Okay, well, and Flash knows. Share that with the class, please.
Well, I think if you could get to if you could get almost to the nose, like just inside the nose, like, or I guess as we look at outside the nose of the yellow one, so you just basically just feathered that top one, like literally just feathered it, then you might slide that out to the edge of the 12-foot and score two. Problem with all of that is that really these guards, the two guards out there almost have to not be there for you to do that. So I don't think you can do it with lightweight. I don't think it'll ever get over there enough to move it far enough. So I think this is ultimately going to be a shot for one.
So Mike McEwen, final stone. And he throws a helicopter.
I don't think they practice this one enough, because I don't think it's going to curl. Oh, here it comes.
And it did weasel it through, and that'll be it. Handshakes there, and it's a win for Team Hosley over Mike McEwen, and they will move on to the finals, which will be coming up very shortly at 4 p.m. Jim, I just keep on going back to the third end here.
Yeah, I think that was the time, the turning point. Either way, it could have been turning point for either team, but you question McEwen's choice to make that. I think, normally I would suggest that draw for ones, 2-1 after 4 or after 3, and you're still in the ball game. I think it was a little bit early to try that, and I think the degree of difficulty was just that little bit too high for that shot. So that's tough. I kudos to the Hosley team for sure. Not too often you pitch a shutout in this league, and that's what they did in this game. And they played some shots that I might not consider playing, but they made everything they needed to make and held McEwen down. Mike obviously didn't have the game he usually has, but still, they just got outplayed today.
And that Hosley rink will face Matt Dunstone in the final. That's going to be coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's thank our sponsors, Henderson Metal, heating, cooling, and fabrication since 1954. This is their Fall Classic, brought to you by the Kioti Tractor Dealers of Ontario. So for Jim Nix, I'm Dave Schmel. Thanks for joining us here on Curling Stadium. Have a great day.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
I'm Nolan Thiessen, CEO of Curling Canada and a BDO alumni. I was a former professional curler with Team Canada, winning the World Championships in 2010 and a 3-time Brier champion. I always loved the Muhammad Ali quote, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And I'm also a sneakerhead.
Hey Nolan, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand you're a sneakerhead.
And I've always liked shoes with a little bit of flair. I think once I got a little later on in my career, kind of became my brand a little bit. I grew up and Michael Jordan was the coolest person in the world and he had the coolest shoes in the world. So I mean, I think it's, how do you go wrong with Jordan 1s?
Can you tell me a little bit about the classics you're wearing today?
Yeah, so these are Jordan 1 lows. The day that I found out that I was going to get the offer to be the CEO of Curling Canada, I was actually in a store and looked at the wall and saw these. And I said, those are perfect Curling Canada colors. And it just worked out.
20 years ago, you worked for BDO.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to wear those kind of shoes to the office?
No, we were a little dressier then.
What drew you to accounting?
I was a math kid growing up. I'm very analytical. I like looking at things and not just looking at the numbers, but also looking at the story of what it means. And I think that kind of really drew me into accounting.
Can you tell me a little bit about your life growing up in Brandon?
I was a typical prairie kid. Baseball was my first love. Yeah, I grew up kind of chasing the baseball dream. Went to Louisiana in the 12th grade and got a college scholarship at junior college in Texas.
Who would be the greatest baseball player of all time?
My parents named me after him, so it's Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan's my idol. He'd be the one that I would be so starstruck to ever meet.
So I notice your shoes are impeccably tied. Much like tying laces, accounting is all about the details. So what did you learn at BDO?
Anybody can balance a balance sheet. It's, what does it mean? What does it say about the business? Time management, which was huge and came in handy, later on when I was, chasing the curling dream full time. From an athletic standpoint, you have a short window of time where you can be an athlete, and I could see the end of the road athletically, and I said, okay, I just need to sell out for this for right now, and I can go back and build my business career because I already had my designation at that point.
Did having the designation, did that give you the comfort to take the leap?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember one of the partners saying to me, accounting is one of the most recession-proof jobs there is. I mean, everybody needs an accountant, and I knew I had something to go towards when I was done.
So, tell me about these shoes.
So these are my old curling shoes. They're Asham brand, which is from Manitoba. I'm a good Manitoba boy there. So this is the sliding shoe. This is Teflon, which is one of the faster sliders. It's something that I always wanted, was the least amount of drag possible. And that's my trail shoe. And I've got a toe dip, it's called, to try to make this as slick as possible, so when you're sliding out and this toe is dragging, you don't have a boat anchor behind you.
Can you tell me about some of your biggest curling moments?
Obviously the biggest one was winning the World Championship. I mean, it's, wearing the maple leaf, standing on the top of the podium, singing your national anthem is your dream, right? I was a front end player too, so sweeping really mattered to me, and I actually was fortunate and also nerve-wracking enough that I got to sweep a draw to the button twice to win the Brier. So you kind of fulfill a lifelong dream, right? I think the first time I won it, I said, I wanted to win this thing since I was 10 or 11 years old. Like it's so cool.
What do you do to stay in shape now?
So I do lots of outdoor running. You know, getting out for an hour and going for a run and just letting your mind clear, I think is one of my ways to sort of decompress.
So like cross-training in sneakers, how did you diversify your skills in order to move up at Curling Canada?
I said I wanted to learn the business of sport, and I wanted to, you know, that meant doing some very junior roles. I'm someone who I need to kind of do it to like kind of understand it and see how the pieces are all put together. You know, how can you help me kind of learn and expand my skill set?
So sneakers provide stability. How did accounting provide you the solid foundation for your next role after curling?
Being able to provide me that business acumen, I think was massive for me. Exposure to many different businesses and different clients, different motivations, being able to acknowledge all of those motivations for people, but then still being able to take it back to the business was valuable in my role.
What is it like being the CEO of Curling Canada?
You know, this means a little bit more to me than just sort of this one moment. I just, you know, I say I don't want to let the sport down, right? And I just care about it. But I think the biggest thing for me is just planning and focusing on the process and knowing that there's a long game, you know, having that strategic goal of where you want to take the organization and always coming back to that.
So sneakers protect our feet from rough terrain. How have you steered Curling Canada through a rough spot?
Sometimes it's just saying, I don't know, right? And it's being confident enough to say, we don't have the answers right now and we'll get them. Always being open with all your stakeholders when decisions need to be made or when you're still processing.
All right, so you've got to tell me about these beauties here.
These are some custom sneakers that Tourism Calgary got done for me. We've got an amazing relationship with them. They helped us during COVID to be able to put on our events in a bubble for 80 days. Yeah, these are just some Jordan 1s, but custom airbrushed with the Calgary skyline. Curling on the other side with the Scotties Tournament of Hearts logo and the Curling Canada logo on them. So I buy shoes to wear shoes, but these ones are so nice. These might be the only ones that I'll just leave on my shelves. And they look too good. I'm not sure if I can wear these.
So I know that youth participation is really huge for you. Why is it so important?
You know what? It's the next generation. I watched the Brier when I was 10 and then said I want to win it. I want those experiences for people now to look at it and say, that was a really cool moment, I'd love to experience that. And sometimes that experience is playing it, sometimes that experience is next time curling's in town, I want to be in the building to feel the energy.
So reflecting on your journey from athlete to accountant to CEO, what's the legacy you want to leave behind?
I love our game, I love the community, I love what it is. It's like this special piece of Canadiana. Our mission is more curlers, curling better, and more fans, right?
Bonus round, which is harder? Winning the World Championship or getting your CPA?
So they're different. Getting my CPA is harder. The World Championship is obviously extremely hard. It's also one though where if you screw up, millions of people saw it.
Someone from their past video is here to say hello.
Awesome.
No, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Colin. How's it going?
Oh, things are going well.
Things are going good?
And we're so proud of you here at BDO. I've always been kind of following you along.
I know you were my lead on a few different audit files, so we spent some time in some bingo halls and some places all over Edmonton. So
it's with we got a little surprise for you.
Wow.
So we got knowing that you're a sneakers guy. So we got a pair of custom sneakers for you. I guess they're Air Force Ones. So
wow.
Take a look.
Curling Canada, BDO, look at that, hey? Our auditor at Curling Canada is actually BDO, so I'll have to take these down when I got to go down for the audit here in a couple of months. So this is awesome.